Battlefield 6 will be returning to the premier multiplayer shooter experience, but how do you prepare for such a massive game? I'm Sage from Uplink, and today we'll be going over the best ways to prepare for Battlefield 6.
Welcome
to Uplink.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to stay up to date on all things Uplink, Battlefield, and Star Wars gaming. From everything we've seen and heard about the next game, even the new teaser trailer for Battlefield 6, the game seems to have a large design focus on a more modern and futuristic look. That leads me to think of Battlefield 4 as the best game to hop into to prepare for the next iteration in the franchise. So let's talk about the top 5 ways to train yourself and your skills for Battlefield 6. The first one I'll talk about will be just the general look and feel of the game. Everything points to a reboot for the franchise back to what fans loved about the previous games. And many people's favorites were Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. Mostly due to the gameplay mechanics, the maps, and the robust experience still available to this day. Be sure to familiarize yourself with the menu layout, as I expect it to be an updated mix of Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 4. So bringing in the functionality and modern look of Battlefield 5 with the gritty, grounded feel of Battlefield 4. The UI I expect to be very similar, so think if Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 5 had a baby that was set in the near future. Next up, let's talk what you need to be thinking of while deciding which games to hop into to practice or refresh your skills. Be aware that while gameplay mechanics and overall feel of the game will be very similar to Battlefield 5, I expect the game to lean more on the aggressive and non-stop action of Battlefield 4. So make sure no matter if you decide to hop into Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, or Battlefield 4, you play with that in mind. No matter the scale, the next game will be more intentional with its design to force you to be more in the heat of things with your gameplay. Even as a sniper in Battlefield 4, you're forced to be more agile and kill focus versus a match of BF5. So keep that in mind as you are jumping into these games. Okay, now let's talk about if you decide Battlefield 4 is the pathway forward as you prep for the next game. I personally have been going in between Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 5 as we wait for Battlefield 6. So much Battlefield mentions in this video. It's been a while since I've hopped into Battlefield 5, and this is my first time really dedicating myself to Battlefield 4. You can see on the channel my first time playing online in Battlefield 4, so definitely be sure to check that out on the channel if you haven't checked it out already. But if this is your first time jumping into the franchise and you're hopping back into those older games, there are some things you need to be aware of. Since Battlefield's launch and the subsequent games coming out, the community is pretty sweaty. So if this is your first time, be sure to look for beginner or noob servers, noob friendly servers. Filter those out to community and public servers, and a game mode I would highly recommend for quick improvement, as long as you have some patience with dying over and over again, which so on some days I do and some days I don't. I would recommend either jumping into Team Deathmatch or Gunmaster. Each of those will allow you to hop back into the heat of things much quicker than the larger game modes. For the fourth tip in this video, let's go over some things in Battlefield 5. Again, I would recommend hopping into some of the smaller game modes if you can find full lobbies and servers, of course, which has been a struggle for me recently looking for Team Deathmatch servers. Many of the gameplay mechanics and choices DICE and team made for Battlefield 5 will carry over to the next one, so keep that in mind as you play through the game, no matter which game modes you decide to play. As I mentioned earlier, Battlefield 5 has a little slower playstyle. Now that doesn't mean the game is slow. You can have many fast-paced moments. But overall, the feeling is a more approachable and beginner-friendly game. So if you're nervous about hopping into Battlefield 5, and I don't blame you, I was for quite some time, and it took getting into the game with some friends to get me more comfortable with that experience. Battlefield 5 is a fantastic option for you to dust off the rust. If you've been playing more story-based games recently while you wait for the next game, or even if you need a more modern Battlefield gameplay and mechanic experience. I've been enjoying hopping in and out of both, so there's no wrong answer as long as you're putting in the time. Which leads me perfectly to the last point I have here. Finally, and arguably the best way to get better and prepare yourself for Battlefield 6, you just need to put in the time and sink in those hours. This answer is also one of the more frustrating ones because it does require some time investment. But just stay consistent. Even if you only play for an hour a week or an hour a day, the consistency will help you stay in the game and keep your skills sharp. That's what I've been doing, trying to at least put 2 to 3 hours a week into Battlefield 5 mainly, but I try to at least put an hour into Battlefield 4, just to keep me humble and give me that struggle to grow through. Battlefield 4 is pretty intense and pretty sweaty, and it's a very aggressive playstyle, which I enjoy. It usually my default mode, and even when I play Heroes vs. Villains Battlefront 2, is just to get in the heat of things and trial by fire. That's how I personally get better at the games. But maybe not. Maybe that's not how you play. So jump into the test fire range in Battlefield 4 and play through and get some experience with the vehicles and the weapons. I've been hopping into that a lot recently. It's been helping me get used to the firing rate of the weapons as well as the drop distance for the bullets, which is something that I struggle with sniping quite a bit. So no matter which way you go about it, there is no wrong answer on how to improve for Battlefield 4. Get ready for it. Even if you hop into something like Warzone or Apex, just something that keeps your skills sharp. And while I personally think it'd be a better option to stay invested in Battlefield, in any of the Battlefield games, because the mechanics will be similar as we jump into the future ones. As long as you're playing something that's similar to Battlefield, it's going to help you out a bunch in preparation for Battlefield 6. And there's still quite some time. There's going to be quite a few months before the game comes out, and we're hoping to see some trailers coming up soon. But that gives us a lot of time to prep and get our skills sharp for the next game. Let me know some of the ways that you've been preparing for the game. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. And let me know what you'd like to see going forward and what you're hoping to see out of the reveal trailer for Battlefield 6. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, share, do all the things. I'll see you out on the battlefield.